Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Hate Live. I know the lighting, by the way, is off a little bit. It's a very odd situation right now because it's a transitional period between the summer and fall here in Washington State, and the lighting is very odd. If I position the lighting one way, it looks too bright because of the sun coming through the window. If I position it a different way, it looks messed up. So this is just, I know the lighting's a little bit different than usual, a little darker maybe. I apologize for that. We will get these stuff sorted out eventually. And by the way, the camera's crooked too. That doesn't help. There we go. Welcome to Hate Live. Tonight is Thursday, September 4th, 2014, and we have not done Hate Live in several weeks. I've been busy with new game releases, with all kinds of stuff going on, and unfortunately we have not had a chance really to talk about the issues, to talk about the big stuff going on. So I want to very much preface this show, and by the way, I think I screwed up and this is the wrong resolution. It is. I'm accidentally broadcasting at 720p when usually I record this at 1080p, so I apologize for that. Oh no, you don't get to see my face super detailed. Oh darn. Okay, so anyway, just to let you know how the show is going to work tonight, a little different than usual. The first segment of the show is going to be me talking about what I've been working on gameplay-wise and project-wise and work-wise for the past week or two, and then we're going to talk about what's coming up in the next week, including a few things that are coming this weekend's adjustment next week to the schedule, okay? And then we're going to talk about me and some things that have been going on with me. One thing that's a personal issue that's pretty, yeah, let's say gross, but it's not anything disgusting or sexual. Don't worry about that. It's a personal issue that's been going on here since I moved into this new house, and it's a pain in the ass. That's number one. And number two, another issue that is basically if you live in the United States of America and you don't work for a company that gives you health insurance through them, this is going to be a huge, important segment for you because I'm going to tell you all about the problems and the issues and just the ongoing kind of laughingstock that has been the process of getting new health insurance since I moved to the state of Washington. It's been a huge mess. It's incredibly difficult compared to what I did when I lived in Connecticut and I was self-employed there. It's a nightmare, really, and I want to let you know because I was late, an hour late for my first gameplay stream today because of it, and I want to let you know so you are aware of the issues and the problems so that they don't strike you if you happen to move and you live in the United States of America, okay? That's going to be the first segment, and then the second segment is actually going to be all gaming news. That's right, there's no back in the day segment on this episode of Hate Live, and I know some of you might say, oh, that's my favorite segment. Listen, I understand, but we haven't had Hate Live in over 3 weeks, and because of that, there's a ton of stuff that's built up that I really feel like I want to address and talk about, and people have been asking me about like crazy. What's your opinion on this? What's your opinion on that? And I really haven't had a chance to discuss it in an intelligent manner, besides maybe a tweet here or something quick on a pre-stream, because I haven't done Hate Live. This is the show where I get to tell you about the issues and give you my opinions. So there's 3 big gaming news stories going on. Number 1, Twitch TV, where I'm streaming from right now, was bought out by Amazon, not by Google, as people had thought they were going to be. Wow, what does that mean? We're going to talk about that. Number 2, GamerGate, which is what everyone's calling it. I don't know why. It's kind of silly. This big controversy that's come out, apparently, you know, people realizing for the first time that the gaming media may not be legit. Oh, like Kevin McAllister in Home Alone. Ah! Well, like we didn't know this already. I've only been talking about this for several years, how unprofessional gaming media are. But at the same time, I'm also going to talk a little bit about how people blow stuff out of proportion, which is absolutely ridiculous. And then third, and probably the most alarming of all the issues, because it actually definitively hurts people and can physically hurt people, is this issue of swatting. This thing that's been going on, and people have been talking about it like it's a fad, like it's this big thing. I'm going to rip this thing open. We're going to talk about exactly what it is, how it's been happening, the fact that I actually was potentially threatened for it this past week, thanks to a few of my viewers who found out there were actually 2 completely different groups of people who were looking into possibly doing this to me because they thought it was funny, which it's not. It's dangerous and it's illegal, but we're going to talk about it on tonight's show. And then we're going to take a final break, and we're going to come back and do live callers, and I think with all the issues we're going to stir up on this episode, that this is probably going to be a ton of people wanting to talk and call in and have, you know, their opinions shared, okay? So that is the schedule for Hate Live tonight. I thank you for joining me for a jam-packed episode of Hate Live. So let's get started, all right? Because we've got so much to do in so little time. All right, so first, let's talk about me and what I've been doing gameplay-wise recently. As you know, the hardcore gaming season officially started last week. And what that means is that literally every week from now until the end of probably November, if not the beginning of December, we are going to be completely engrossed with new video games. Crazy amounts of new content, new stuff coming out weekly, and I don't think there is a week with no new release until come like mid-December. So no matter what, we're going to be full speed ahead with brand new games. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I am having issues staying caught up with all of it. And primarily the reason is because a lot of the games that have been coming out are coming out at the same time, but some of them are longer than others, and the longer games are getting caught up and not being finished because the new content is coming out. And I am being slightly overwhelmed. The good news is, in the next couple of weeks, things will slow down a little bit with only 2 or 1 even new release a week. And hopefully by the end of September, things will have calmed down and caught up so that as we head into October, which, oh my God, October, that's what they should call this year, OMG October, because there's so many games coming out, so really weeks with 4 or 5 games coming out, it's out of control. And I'm very excited for it, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, I got to gear up, got to be a trooper, and we got to plow through this, right? So, let's talk. What have I been up to recently? Last week, there were multiple new releases. We had Madden 15, which for most people, I'm going to be honest, who watched it said they didn't like it. Said, Phil, this is, it's not very good. It's boring. You played the career mode and then you played Ultimate Team mode, which are both simulation modes. It's not as good as just jumping in and playing with a team. And the thing is, a couple of years ago, I think it was Madden 11 or 12 I played. And that's pretty much what I did. I said, I'm just going to jump in and try to figure it out. And I really didn't enjoy myself playing it. I found that I was incredibly frustrated because I couldn't figure stuff out. I lost a lot and I raged. Now, a lot of people liked that, and the series did pretty decently back then, okay? But I didn't want to do that this time around because I want to legitimately play the game. And let's face it, this past year I've played career modes in games like NBA 2K14, UFC, MLB, and people liked those career mode playthroughs that I did. So I kind of approached it the same way, and unfortunately it's just not really translating into anything that's entertaining according to the viewership. And what I mean by that is that people speak with their viewership. So when I first started streaming Madden, it had over 1,200 viewers, and by the time I was done with my first stream, it had under 500 viewers. So there you have it. Same thing with YouTube. Starts out big views, and then... And I'm not complaining about views. I'm saying this is how I judge if people are finding a project entertaining or not. And they're telling me with their views, no, they weren't. It was getting boring. So I tended to focus on other stuff this week, up to and including Infamous First Light, which was a DLC, standalone DLC for Infamous, which quite honestly, I did not like very much. I thought that it was kind of dialed in or phoned in, however you want to call it, that it was really blasé. It was kind of like playing Infamous Second Son Light, rather than a standalone DLC. It really felt like you just took one element out of the game and sold it for a couple bucks. And it really wasn't anything that's necessary to the story either. It wasn't very entertaining or interesting, even with the story elements in it. For me, in my honest opinion, that's a skip. That's not even worth playing. I also played the Dark Souls 2 Crown of the Old Iron King DLC, which, again, I'm going to be honest with everyone, wasn't as good as the last one. I actually liked the Sunken King DLC a lot better than this past one. I thought this one was kind of a little bit recycled, uninspired. Most of it took place in one tower rather than, if you remember, all the different locations that were in the last one, right? Even had a recycled boss, which is really pathetic in my opinion. And the other two bosses were very similar. So really the game didn't have that much going for it, or this DLC didn't have much going for it, and I thought, again, that was kind of a letdown. The one thing that was not a letdown this past week, by far, was The Walking Dead Season 2 finale, which I think, dependent on your choices, you may have a different opinion on what you thought the end of the game was. For me, my choices came to an ending that was, I'll be honest, kind of grim. It was kind of grim. And, but I was okay with it. At the end, I said, you know what? My choices have led me to this, and I'm sticking with it. I'm not going to go back and replay the thing 3 times to get multiple different endings, which it does have, by the way. I'm just going to stick with my ending story, and that's it. And a lot of people had it, oh, Phil, but, oh, no, but this guy died, and this one, you didn't go with this one, and you know, people criticized. Listen, The reason that these Telltale games work is because it's your story. And most people up to this point have complained about Telltale games, saying that why do your choices really not matter? In the end, if someone's going to die, they usually die anyway. In the end, if you're going to end up alone, you're going to end up alone regardless of what your choices were. This was probably the one episode of any Telltale game so far where your choices actually mattered and led to the end of the episode and changed the ending. So that's a positive, and people loved it, people watched it, still watching it now, and that's again another telltale sign of when something's good, is when you can check back a week and a half later and people are still going to watch it, and that's great. And I love playing those story-based episodic games, and I'm going to be looking forward to Game of Thrones coming up and the Borderlands episodic game coming up from Telltale. All that stuff sounds good to me. I mean, I love them, you love them, let's continue to play them together, right? Okay. Then this past weekend, I started doing something completely unique and different. This past week, received my Nintendo 3DS capture device, and I started my very first Nintendo 3DS full-length playthrough of Professor Layton vs. Phoenix Wright. Whew, and what a game it is. I now have mixed... When I played it the first day, I loved it. I thought the game was outstanding. I was like, this is incredibly good. A perfect mix of two different styles of gameplay. I've played it a couple other times after that, and I really honestly have an opinion. Not necessarily an opinion shift, but more of a bigger picture view of the game. And I'm going to be honest with everyone. I like it, but it's also an incredible amount of work to do because I do the voice acting for it. And what I mean by that is similar to my previous Phoenix Wright playthroughs that I've done. I actually voice act the characters when there's no voice acting. There is a little bit of limited voice acting in the game for the cutscenes and the real critical moments, but for the most part, the game is not voice acted. It's just text, and that's boring. If someone just read the text or didn't even read the text, why the hell would you watch it if you got to sit there and read the novel yourself? You're trying to watch an entertaining video, right? So I've been doing voice acting for this playthrough, and I love it. I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun with it. Okay, but at the same time, it's incredibly taxing, especially on my voice. I'm finding that if I do these sessions, my voice ends up being hoarse all night. I'm getting sore throats because let's face it, unlike someone naturally talking like I'm doing right now. Okay, I'm going to talk for 2 hours. My voice will be somewhat strained. Talking for 2 to 4 hours, doing different voices and inflections with my voice, not even knowing what's coming. That's the other thing. So people are like, oh, Phil, you've been complaining that it's tough. You don't know. There's professional voice actors. What about actors who are on the stage? All these people who do this stuff all the time. That's easy work. Why are you complaining? You got to keep in mind, those people practice. They're professionals at it. This is what they do for a living. That's not what I primarily do for a living, this voice acting. In addition, they get their material ahead of time. They get to find out what's coming, the frame of reference of the character. They get to practice and really work on me. I'm literally doing this on the fly as I play the game. I'm making voices up on the spot. And some of them are hit or miss. I definitely understand. Some of them aren't as good as others. Keep in mind, this game takes place in Great Britain, so I have to do a lot of English accents, which I'm not used to. It's a lot of freaking work. So I'm loving the playthrough, but it's a lot of work. Now, let's talk about the reality of this playthrough. I've now played the game for over 10 hours, and people are telling me I'm not even a third through the game. What? 10 hours and I'm not a third through the game. And the reason really is because Phoenix Wright games are incredibly drawn out. To give you some perspective on what I mean by that, I was just the past 2 nights, doing a certain court case as Phoenix Wright is the defense attorney for this girl who supposedly is being accused of being a witch. After 2 hours of this court case going on, they were at an absolutely perfect point to end it, and then they just completely flipped it and made it go on for another 2 hours. And I'm going to be honest, most people who were watching on the stream were like, this is still going? This is really still going? And the thing is, it's par for the course for Phoenix Wright. That's actually how most Phoenix Wright games have been. But it really is really fucking drawn out. And I get the feeling that this playthrough could take me weeks to get through, especially because of all the new stuff coming up. It's going to be something that I juggle with other stuff. It's not going to be my primary focus. I'm going to be honest, it can't be my primary focus. I'll have no voice. That's how much work it is to do all this voice acting. So, for those of you who are watching the playthrough, who are liking the playthrough, okay, I have something to say to you and a favor to ask of you. The thing I want to say to you is thank you for watching and enjoying. And thank you for bearing with me for the fact that it's not the main focus and it's not my main stream every day, and that you guys are hanging in there and you're watching, whether it's on stream or on YouTube. But what I need to tell you is this. It's an incredible amount of hard work straining my voice and threatening the fact that I won't be able to do other stuff. And I need you guys to spread the word that the playthrough is good. I'm getting nothing, literally nothing, but positive feedback about, wow, Phil, your voices are great. This is amazing. We're really enjoying the effort you're putting in. But I need this playthrough to get traction, all right? And I'm not saying it needs to get hundreds of thousands of views per video. I'm just saying if it could get a couple thousand views per video, that would be great, because that means that I'm really stressing myself, I'm working myself, but it's worth it because so many people are enjoying it, and maybe I'm getting a new viewer base. And the truth of the matter is, I bought this Nintendo 3DS capture device hoping to jump maybe into a new viewer base. I know there's people out there who do Nintendo 3DS gameplay, and they've been doing it since day one. It's something new for me, but it's something fresh and it's variety, and I think overall it's going to add to my product. But I need the good stuff to take traction. People have already said it's one of the best playthroughs in years, that it's the old Phil. I'm making jokes. I'm enjoying myself during the court cases. It seems like it's the same Phil from 2011. Guess what? It is the same Phil from 2011. It's the same. I'm not a different person. I didn't get Invasion of the Body Snatchers and change into a different person. The difference is the way that the outsiders now view me. Back in 2010, 2011, I was the underdog, the up-and-comer. Oh, this guy got laid off from his job, and now he's trying to do YouTube full-time. Let's support him. And people would say, oh, Phil, I heard about that guy. I'll watch his playthrough, and they would give me the benefit of the doubt. Today, because of all the insane negativity that's out there, Phil's doing 3DS. Well, I heard that guy's an asshole. They won't even give it a look, you know? And people need to really say, no, listen, this is good. You know, Phil's not an asshole. This content, this particular playthrough is exceptional, and you should give it a look. And that's how I got my popularity to begin with. It was always word of mouth. It wasn't, oh, I do a co-op playthrough with another big YouTuber, or, oh, I get signed by a big company to do some kind of a campaign where I get exposure or anything like that, or I get the games ahead of time by 2 weeks. No, it was me just sitting there and playing a game and having fun with it, and people spreading the word that this is genuinely entertaining content. And that's what I need from you. If you like that playthrough, please spread the word and let it get some traction. Because for the amount of work I'm doing for it, the fact that I'm literally right now, my throat is strained from doing it for days this week. My throat is strained. I need to have it have some traction, so it's kind of worth it. You know what I mean? Especially because this is going to be a playthrough that seems like it's going to be going on for weeks. It would be nice if I could get some outside attention from people besides the core fan base, and some people would actually give me a shot. So that's really what I want to say about that, okay? Okay, so that's what I have been doing, and in this week in particular, new content with The Sims 4. The Sims 4 was the one major big new release this week, and a lot of people have been saying, what is your take on The Sims 4, Phil? And I will tell you right now what my take is, because I think I have a unique take, being that I've never played a Sims game before this one. So keep in mind, I am well aware of all the controversies surrounding The Sims 4. Oh, they took out pools, and you can't be a toddler, and all this stuff. But for me, I'm starting from ground zero, from base one, where I didn't have any of that stuff because I never played the game before. So I didn't have those things taken away from me. I never had them at all. So from my perspective, let me put it this way. I think that The Sims 4 is a quirky game. It's a game that really is addictive. If anything, the one thing that I've said that stands true this week, as I've been playing Sims 4 now for 3 days, okay, is that you will sit down to play this game, and you will start playing it, and you'll get into it, and the next thing you know, you'll be playing it for 5 hours, and you didn't even realize it. Like, seriously. Like, every time I sit down to play this game, and I finish, I'm like, I feel like I just started. Where did the time go? Did I really just play this game for 4 hours? It doesn't feel like it to me. And that's really kind of the real one major feedback I can give you, is the game is a time sink. It really is. You will be immersed in this game, and you will just not even realize what time is passing by when you're playing it. On a positive note, I can tell you right now, the game, I've had no problems with the game when it comes to technical things. And I thought for sure that I was going to have crashing games, crazy game bugs, weird shit going on. The only game bug I've had, which was actually kind of funny, is that my guy went to take a bubble bath, but he still had his clothes on. So basically what it showed was the clothes were like steaming in the tub, which was funny. It looked like he was steaming his clothes while they were on his body. But for the most part, there have not been many bugs in this game. And I'm actually able to capture it, no problem, no crashes, nothing. So in that regard, EA apparently did a really good job at quality assurance on the game. That being said, I've now played with 2 different Sims. I played with a male Sim and a female Sim, and actually had some kind of real drama and kind of almost soap opera-esque stuff where the male Sim had a girlfriend, but then the female Sim moved in next door and kind of seduced him, and now he's going out with 2 girls at once, and he's a real party animal. He invites everyone over to his house all the time. It's a pretty interesting and fun story and situation to follow, okay? But what I can tell you right now is I've played the game for 3 sessions, and at this point, I'm kind of wondering, at the next session, there's probably 1 or 2 goals that I have and things I haven't done. For example, I haven't had a kid yet. I haven't gotten married yet. That's 2 things, right? I didn't check out a museum yet. And then I don't know what else to do with the game, because really, I get the feeling what the game's purpose is that you make one Sim, then you make another Sim, then you make a family, then you do another family, then you do another family, then you do another family, and you see them all interact. But it's kind of the same stuff. A lot of people have even said it's boring because he's at home a lot. Well, yeah, because in real life, you're home a lot. In real life, you go to work, maybe you do your shopping or whatever, you come home, and then you start cooking and making food, and you clean yourself. That's really what it is, the life simulator. It's real dumbed down. It's not overly complicated, but it's a life simulator, and if you're not having fun with the quirkiness of the interactions of the characters and stuff, such as me talking to a guy and then immediately hugging him and picking his wallet out of his pocket when he's not even looking, if you don't find that kind of stuff entertaining, you're probably not going to like The Sims 4. So it really depends on what kind of a person are you. Do you think that if you became such a miscreant that you could sweet talk a sweet old grandmother into streaking down the middle of a street, and you think that's funny, you'll probably like The Sims 4. If you think that sounds stupid, you probably won't like The Sims 4. Right now, I am enjoying the game, but I'm almost getting the feeling that if I play it a couple more times, that it may start to get repetitive and boring. I can already see the limitations of the game. There's only 2 locations you can even really live in. And really, the locations aren't much varied. They have the same kind of buildings. Like, they both have a gym, they both have a bar, they both have a museum. So it's not like there's a wide variety of stuff to do. And it almost feels like a game that you know in 3 months they're going to release a $20 expansion. Oh, it's a new location and new content to add to the game. And they'll just keep doing that, what they've done with every Sims game, to make tons of money on people who just keep playing it and get hooked on it. So I am absolutely having fun. I am absolutely liking The Sims 4. I am going to continue to play it. In fact, tomorrow I'm doing my very first co-op simulation with Leanna, who's in the office right next door to me right now. And she's going to be joining me, and we're going to be making co-op decisions on characters we're going to either create or play as. We're going to decide, gee, should they be in the same town as my 2 Sims or not? And we're going to try to do some fun stuff together for a few hours on stream tomorrow. So you can check that out if you get a chance, and that'll also be uploaded to my YouTube channel as well, okay? But now, again, I have to say, again, if you've been watching me play The Sims and you like this content, wow, this is something different, this isn't usually what Phil does, I've been watching it and really enjoying it, I need your help. I need you to tell people about it. Tell your friends, tell other people on YouTube, other people on Twitch, tell people who you know like to watch video that I am doing entertaining content of The Sims 4 as well. Again, it's outside of my comfort zone. It's something that people probably wouldn't expect me to do, and people who don't follow me probably have no idea I'm playing. And again, I don't get that exposure like I used to, where, wow, DSP's playing a new game, let's go check it out. Instead, it's kind of the opposite. Wow, fuck DSP. Unless I hear something good about it, I'm not going to watch his stuff. So I need you to spread the word. I think really what's happened is I kind of got complacent in the fact that if I just put out content, people are going to know about it and watch it, and that's not the case anymore. I really need to make a case to have people go out there and say, no, Phil's still making great content, go check it out, because I can only do so much as one person, and I don't have the means. I don't have, I mean, I know, I actually been talking the past couple of weeks, YouTubers who have managers, okay? Well, my manager said that if we do this, we'll get more publicity. I don't have a manager. I don't have money for a manager. I never will. You know, it blows my mind that people who make videos on YouTube have professional management companies and stuff. I'm like, what? So, you know, no, I don't have that. I rely on you, the viewer, to spread the word, and I really would appreciate it if you could, if you're liking the new stuff that I'm trying out during this hardcore gaming season, to spread the word about it. Because I know there's going to be staple playthroughs that people are going to come out to watch. I'm aware that probably when I play certain things like Dragon Age coming up, Dragon Age Inquisition, probably Shadows of Mordor is probably going to be a really good one. You know, and other stuff. Probably with the Assassin's Creed's a decent amount of people come out. Far Cry, the new Far Cry is coming out. That's going to be good. There's stuff that when I do it, I know people will come to watch. Oh, Phil plays the big games. But what about this other stuff in between that I'm doing? That's what I really need your help with, okay? So now, let's talk about what's coming up in the next week or two, because I know you guys are interested in the new stuff and how I'm going to tackle it. So this weekend, tomorrow, as I said, we're going to be doing more Sims co-op. Friday night was going to be Layton versus Wright. Saturday is up in the air, and it's dependent on you. If you guys are really, wow, we want to see Phil do even more Layton versus Wright, let's have him do a 4-hour stream on Saturday. Great, but I need you need me to let me know, because if I'm going to put in 2 hours of voice acting Friday night and 4 hours of voice acting Saturday, and we have a poor turnout and no one's watching the videos on YouTube, it's going to completely destroy my voice. And I'll tell you right now, I know I'm going to get frustrated. Okay? Now, I could do just Layton versus Wright on Friday night and then do more Sims on Saturday, and then we just leave it until Monday. Okay? Some children screaming outside. That's interesting. Hope our kid didn't get hurt. Hope they're just playing shit. That scared me, actually. Usually I don't hear that kind of noise in this neighborhood. God damn. Okay, but anyway, we could just have Layton versus Wright not be played on the weekend and come back on Monday as maybe the first stream. All right, so but I need your feedback on what's gonna happen here, and we'll go from there. All right. So Saturday, there's only going to be one gameplay stream. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet. It's going to be one of the two games I'm currently playing. Okay. Sunday is the return of Street Fighter. Last week I didn't do a Street Fighter stream because I was so inundated with new stuff. This week we got a little bit of a reprieve, so we will be Street Fighter on Sunday. I will be asking you guys on Saturday during the second half of the day on my Twitter account @TheyCallMeDSP for what characters I should use in Street Fighter. And it will be one of the final sessions of Street Fighter where I'm trying out new characters, because at this point I've got a small group that I think I should focus on. Sunday night we're going to have the weekend preview. And then immediately following that, the second week in a row where I'm going to be doing Tomodachi Life on the Nintendo 3DS. So check that out as well. People who have watched Tomodachi Life are liking it. The problem is getting people to watch Tomodachi Life, because it is another simming game. It's really quirky. It's kind of funny, but at the same time, some people don't get it. I think it's good, and that's the only reason that I'm doing it. So definitely check that out Sunday night. Monday we'll be back with 2 full gameplay streams. Okay? And then Tuesday of next week is the huge day. Destiny is finally here, and we finally get to see, with all the stuff that's been going on. I've seen the TV ads from Microsoft not Microsoft, excuse me, from Activision and Bungie. I literally I watch the commercial. This is the big quote of the commercial. It's not just a game. Then what is it? A game. I don't know if I want to play a game that's not just a game. Do I want to get myself involved in something that is bigger than just a game? I don't know, man. Some people tweeted me on Twitter about it. Said, "Oh, that means that it's not just a game; it's an experience." What does that mean? I mean, come on now. I mean, it's a game, sure. Yeah, you'll play multiplayer with your friends. You'll like it. Yeah, you'll play multiplayer, or you'll play co-op with your friends. It'll play like a little bit like Borderlands, a little bit like Halo. The multiplayer is kind of similar to Halo, but I love it when they do ads like that. It's not just a game. Then what is it? A life-changing experience? After I play Destiny, am I going to walk out of my office and be like, Epiphany, yes, I've seen God. I've seen the face of God. It's so ridiculous that with the ads that they do for these games. But anyway, we have Destiny this week, and we have NHL 15. I'm really hoping that with NHL 15, it's not another Madden, where I go to play it and people are like, wow, this is boring, it's a sports simulation. Well, yeah, that's the point. Especially with the fact that I'm still going to have Layton versus Wright going. I still have Tales of Exilia 2 on the back burner. I might still want to continue with Sims. And so if I have all that, do I want to take the time out to do NHL? Lots of people have been saying yes, but I don't know. I've never played an NHL game. I don't know how that's going to go. So I guess we'll find out this week. Okay. Now, with Destiny, a lot of people have been asking me about this. What's going on with Destiny? How are you going to handle Destiny? With Destiny, this is going to be a game that I'm going to be playing, and as you know, you can play it by yourself, but you could also team up with other people. I am looking actively this week for people who will be available during the times that I'm streaming to join me and do some of the cooperative missions. You do not have to be a YouTuber who puts out videos. You do not have to be any kind of a major known person. I may get people in there just on the fly and randomly add them, or it may be people from time to time that you know, or it may be people who are other YouTubers, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not doing any huge, giant cooperative project with some other... It's so funny because last week was PAX, okay? And there were a few YouTubers who I'm friendly with who went to PAX, and I was talking with them on Twitter or whatever, and immediately people are like, oh, Phil's trying to do giant cooperative game playthroughs with these other YouTubers, and he's going to meet up with them at PAX and do... And of course, none of that happened. It was kind of funny. I was just casually asking if any of them were available at PAX to maybe just hang out for a bit, because I wasn't going to PAX, and it turned out they were all busy, and I was actually busy on a day when one of them wanted to hang out, so it didn't come together. But I would much rather do co-op with people who are there, number one, for the love of the game, number two, people who maybe are looking to maybe get a little bit of exposure. Maybe you have a YouTube channel and you want to see if maybe doing some co-op with someone different would actually give you a little boost. But I want to keep everyone in mind here. I'm not going to be doing it consistently during the course of the week with one group, okay? That's not going to be how it's going to be. You're not going to see 4 consistent people the whole week. And it may be people dropping in and out at times because they don't have the same schedule as me. But the goal is going to be to try to get people in there and play through the game cooperatively and see if we enjoy it, okay? Now, I'm hoping that my headset, which I'm going to show you, this is the headset you see in all my videos. It's just the microphone for it is just a standard microphone. I'm hoping if I plug this into my PS4 controller's bottom that it will work, okay? If it does, then we're in business. If it doesn't, I really don't have a mic that works with PS4. They have that little shitty one that sounds like garbage. I don't think anyone's going to want to hear me talk on that mic. So there is high potential that, unfortunately, I may not have a working mic for this Destiny gameplay. I'm not going to run out and buy a new headset or buy a mic to get it to work, okay? I'm hoping that just plugging this in is going to work. Fingers crossed, because who knows these day and age, right? If this doesn't work, that's it. There'll be no voice communication from me, and people who want to play with me are just going to have to randomly, you know, join me, and we're just going to have to try to figure stuff out for ourselves without verbal communication. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, okay? There may be a chance that I find a mic at GameStop or something, too, when I walk in there. I don't know. I'm so inundated right now with stuff going on in my personal life, I don't have any free time to do anything. As you're about to find out, because I'm literally about to stop talking about games and start talking about all that stuff, okay? So that's roughly how we're going to approach it. I do want to let everyone know this Wednesday, my first stream will be late because actually Leanna scheduled her first doctor appointment. She actually has health insurance and is fine to go to a doctor out here. I'm not, but she has full health insurance and is able to now go to the doctor, and she's going to get a checkup and you know, a few things you know, looked at for health's sake this coming Wednesday, and that's around I think it's around 11:15 a.m. our time. I'm not positive, but it's early in the morning, so the chances is that we're gonna be late because they're gonna be delayed. So this Wednesday we'll have a delayed first stream, but everything else this week should be business as usual. Okay. So there you have it. That's how I'm tackling Destiny. I'll be balancing that with NHL and anything else that I'm still playing, which probably Leighton versus Wright's going to be going on forever. That's the deal for this next coming week. Okay. So now let's talk about 2 personal things going on with me. Then we'll take a short break, and we'll come back and talk about all the big gaming news that's been happening, all the controversies and things that really need to be discussed, all right? So number 1, the first thing that's really bothering me, it's been a month, it's been an issue now. And admittedly, I will admit when I'm wrong, and I was in the wrong, I screwed up, okay? Here's what happened. A month ago, the way that things work since I moved to this private community is that every 2 weeks, garbage removal people as well as recycling removal people show up and they collect trash and recyclables. Now, we as residents here are responsible to sort those within separate cans. You're supposed to have 1 can for trash, 1 can for recyclables, or if you have a little bit more, maybe you have an extra can of each week, okay? And I've been doing that, but 1 month ago, I screwed up. I screwed up and I forgot to put the trash out, and that sucks because they only come for it every 2 weeks. So literally for 2 extra weeks, I had old ass trash, old stinky fucking trash in my garage. My garage smelled like shit because of it. And finally, 2 weeks ago, they came again, and I put all... Now, of course, I had forgotten to put the trash out, so I had this big green can. I had to buy extra trash cans, so I had another extra trash can, and I had this little green can, which actually had been here when I moved in. There was actually the big green trash can and the little green trash can were here when I moved in, okay? So, that being said, all this trash was out 2 weeks ago, and they come or whatever overnight, and I go out there to get the cans at night, and they didn't empty the little green can. And I'm like, why would they have emptied the big ones, this one, and not the little one? It doesn't even seem to make sense. Why would you not empty a trash can, right? And I'm thinking, they didn't leave a note or anything, so I'm thinking, chalk it up to a mistake. They accidentally left the can there, big deal. All right, now it's my fault that I had that much trash. Shame on me because I didn't put it out that week, you know. So I actually brought the can back inside my garage for another 2 weeks. Stinky as hell, okay? I put it all in the corner of the garage. It was old now. We're talking month-old trash, okay? So now last night, finally, I put the cans out again. And this time it was just the big can, I believe, and the small can. I put it out there. And I put a note on it this time. The note actually says, hello, please empty this can you forgot last time. Thanks. Left the note on the can. I go out there this morning. The recyclables are gone. And by the way, the recyclables, there were a ton of all this cardboard and stuff. We finally broke down all these boxes. And all that is out there. They take all that. They empty out the big can. They leave the fucking little can again. I'm like, are you gotta be fucking kidding me? Now this time, they leave a note on the can, right? And it says, call this number for a bigger can. And I'm like, what? Why? So you can't empty a can because it's a small can. You want me to get a bigger can? Huh? So I go to open it. It's full of bugs now because it's been out all night. There's fucking disgusting maggots and shit in there. So I can't bring this back inside of my house. It's month-old garbage. It smells like shit and it's infested. I can't touch this can. So the can has to stay outside, okay? So I grab this piece of paper. I go inside. I call the people on the number on it. Says, I talk to this guy, this reception guy, and he goes, he's just literally, you can hear him like stroking a beard on the other end of the phone. And he goes, I don't have a clue why they wouldn't have picked it up. I said to him, well, is there a can limit? And they said, well, yeah, technically, your count is supposed to be they empty one huge can of trash, which is your big green can. And yeah, they're allowed if there's a few smaller cans, they're supposed to do it. He says, but if there's a can there that they know they didn't empty last time and you left a note on it to empty it, he goes, at the very least, they should have still emptied it. And if they thought that that was like excessive, they send you a bill to pay for it, not they leave it there. That's disgusting. I'm like, yeah, I know it's disgusting. So what am I supposed to do? Because I'm stuck with a can that I can't move. I can't touch that can, right? I'm not going to get bugs inside of my house because these assholes won't empty this can. And I can't put it in my car. I can't do anything with it. I'm stuck with it. So they said, all right, if they leave a can, they're supposed to leave notes on your account. Let me access your account. The guy did. There's no notes. So the guys who do this aren't doing their job properly and didn't do their job again, because even if maybe there was a reason, like, oh, it's over a can limit, they're supposed to notate it and tell the customer, and they didn't tell me. So they're completely fucking assholes, basically, not doing their job properly. So tomorrow, someone's supposed to come back during the course of the day and either pick up this can or do something, because I can't touch this can. It's literally out there on the curb, okay? And I notified the president of this whole private place, and our next door neighbor is the treasurer. I notified her, and I told him, I'm sorry, I know that you're supposed to bring your cans in on trash day. I cannot bring that back into my house. That would be a threat to everyone, because if my house gets infested with bugs, now the two connected houses could get infested with bugs. We can't do it. We got to leave it there. Okay? So we'll see what happens. If they come back tomorrow and they take it, they take it. If they don't, I don't know what I'm going to do. The guy who I talked to said, call me again and let me know if they don't take it, and we've got to figure something out, because you can't have a can just sitting there. It's disgusting. So that's one issue, okay? That's one major issue that happened to me today. Now, the other issue that's going on right now with me is healthcare. And I've already, in previous Hate Lives, talked about this, all right? But I need to go into detail. I'm going to try to do it as quickly as possible. But I need to go into detail because I get the feeling that there are thousands of Americans right now who have no idea that the healthcare system has seriously changed in the past year. and the steps that you need to take to get proper health care if you move or if you have to go through the new method to get health care. It's completely and utterly changed. There's no guide whatsoever anywhere on the internet or anywhere to figure out how you're supposed to do it properly. It's a huge mess, and because of it, I'm one of the thousands of Americans, excuse me, that slipped through the cracks, and I have no health care right now. And it's not my fault. It's the fault of the people who designed the new process. All right, so I'm going to explain to you why I don't have health insurance right now, and I'm going to explain to you how I'm in the process of getting it, okay? So, healthcare used to work like this, okay? You either get it through your job, if you're a full-time employee of a company, corporation that provides it, or you need to get it yourself, or you just don't have it. Millions of Americans didn't have healthcare. They just opted, I can't afford it, I don't even know how to get it by myself, I'm not going to get it. The other problem was there were some Americans who already were sick and they couldn't get health care because they couldn't get health insurance because the health insurance company said, well, you're sick, we don't want you, denied. So these people couldn't afford health care out of pocket because they were sick and they're not rich, and so they had no health care, okay? So President Obama decided that he was going to create a new plan where every American had health care, no matter what. No pre-existing conditions don't matter. You know, it may be a little expensive, but it will be affordable. You can get tax deductions later on in the year to make up for the money that you pay up front for it, especially if you don't make a lot of money. So the intentions of President Obama were great. They're great. Makes sense. More people can have health care. Why should there be people who just have no health care? But what he did is he basically turned it from a whole private thing where everyone has to do it separately and they go to a company directly to something that's now mandated and run by the states. So each state in the United States of America, which there are 50 of, right? Or is there 52 now? I don't even know anymore. Geometry, geography, geology. They all sound the same to me. But anyway, in the United States, every state now has to do their own. So what you need to do, you can't just go direct to a company and say, I need health insurance, and tell them your age and your health problems and see if they qualify you and how much it is. No, you can't do that anymore. Now you go to a website for each state. So for Washington, it's like Washington Health Plan.gov or some weird website. You have to put your information into the state website. The state website then will qualify you through the website, which basically everyone's supposed to qualify at this point, okay, regardless of how much money you make or what your health condition is. Then that website is supposed to basically direct you or give your information to a healthcare company who would have been who you went directly to before, but now you have to go through this website, and they're supposed to do all that work for you, and then you get health insurance through a third-party company, okay? Problem is, because they decided to do this as a national mandate, and everyone in the country now has to get health care this way, they don't do it all the time, meaning if you don't enroll for health care in November, you don't get it for the whole year. The only way that you can qualify is if there's a life-changing event. Now, in my case, I moved out of the state of Connecticut, across the country to the state of Washington. You know, they're not going to cover me. This Connecticut, which was the name of my healthcare company, said we will not cover any charges in the state of Washington. You'll end up paying out of pocket. Okay? So when I moved here, I immediately went to this website, put my information in, boom. It said I qualified. I even picked the plan. I even paid my first payment, which was over $200, to this website, okay? The website basically looked like everything was done, and that was it. So I'm figuring I'm good. I had no additional follow-up. No mail came to me that said you need to still do this. No email came to me saying you didn't finish this step or anything like that, okay? And so a month passes, and now it turns to be August, because I've lived here for a month, and I got nothing. I'm like, what happened? What happened with this healthcare plan? So I call the website staff, and they go, we have no idea. It sounds like, your stuff probably did go to the company, but they just didn't get around to it yet. Call this company directly. The name of, I think it's Premiere or something like that, the name of this healthcare company. I call the company says, we have no record of you, sir. You don't exist to us. So what that means is that the website, the healthcare website for Washington, never sent us your information. Did you happen to send them qualifying documents to prove that you moved from Connecticut to Washington? And I went, what are you talking about? Not at one point, never when I was doing this on the website to get health care, did it ever ask me for this information, ever. And they're like, we get this call literally hundreds of times a day. It's not your fault. Their process sucks. Their website sucks. You were supposed to give them a cancellation letter from your old insurance company as well as a bill from your old address and your new address to prove that you no longer have health insurance and that you are in a new state, and then they will qualify you. But you need to get all that first and put it into their website. And I'm just like this. I'm like, so I basically could have had healthcare this whole month and got all this information for everyone, but they never told me. And they're like, yup, we get this complaint all the time, sir. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So at this point, I go back and I call back the website and I say, why did you not tell me this 20 minutes ago when I called you? And they're like, duh, we're very sorry. Like they have no answer. Basically, they didn't know anything because they're uneducated, okay? So they explained to me then the process of how to submit these documents. Now, the problem is, I, number one, supposedly still owe them another payment of $200, which I told them I'm not paying you another $200 because I'm not covered. I don't have health care. Why would I pay you $200 and then another $200 and I don't have health care? Are you out of your mind? You know what I mean? It's like $400 goes into the air. So I told them, until this gets cleared up, I'm not paying you any more money. Then I went to my old healthcare company in Connecticut and I said, listen, I need to cancel my insurance. They said, okay, but our system is completely automated and you're not going to get your cancellation letter until next month. And I'm like, really? There's absolutely no way that you can send me a letter earlier. And they said, no, sir, it's not. It's completely 100% automated. You can't get your healthcare cancellation letter till September. So I said, so I get no healthcare for the month of August then because I can't prove that I'm not covered. Finally, after waiting the month, yesterday the letter showed up. So yesterday I scanned all the information, I put it into the website to prove all these qualifying documents or whatever. And then this afternoon, this is why I was late for my first stream today, my first gameplay stream, by an hour, because I was on the phone for an hour and a half with Washington website for this healthcare bullshit. So I called them and I confirmed that my information was in there. They said, oh, it's going to take another 3 weeks for them to even review the information. So another 3 weeks without health care, right? Okay, so that's fine. And they said, oh, but sir, we see here that you're delinquent on your bill. You didn't pay. I'm like, I paid you $200 over 2 months ago for absolutely nothing. Oh, sir, well, you owe us another $200. If you don't give that $200 to us, we're just going to cancel your application. I said, so I just want to get this straight. The United States of America changed health care so that more people can have it. But your system to sign up for it is so fucked up that you literally are going to take anywhere from $400 to $600 of my money and use it on yourself, and I got no health care out of it. And if I don't give you this money, you're canceling my application and I get no health care. So basically, it's extortion for $400 to $600 or else I don't get health care. And the woman on the line's like, I said, let me speak to your supervisor, okay? So the supervisor comes on the phone. And I talked to her for about 45 minutes. And I told her exactly how her process is fucked up. And how if you're going to have a customer pay up front, that's a commitment, that's a contract for future service. You cannot accept payment and then not give someone the product at the end. So if you're going to accept my payment, you have to do everything possible in due diligence during the process to make sure that the customer needs to provide more information, okay? So of course, she's the customer service supervisor. She apologizes left and right. Well, I can't give you your money back, but here's how. She bullshits me for half an hour, and you don't bullshit a bullshitter. I obviously know that she's just doing her job or whatever. And I said, all right, so let me ask you this. If I pay you the $200 that you claim you owe me, what is that going towards, and when will I be covered for insurance? And she said, well, sir, since you did submit all of your documents now, and, as long as the documents look good, which I know they're fine, okay? As long as the documents look good and you get approved for being moved during this month, you will be covered for the month of September and moving forward. Meaning, let's say in the month of September, I break my leg and I end up in the hospital, and then I come home and then I just say, send me all the bills. When all the bills come, since I am in the process of getting health insurance, so let's say finally sometime in October I get approved and I get all my medical cards and everything from this Premier company, whoever the hell they are, Premier, I don't know. Then I would send those bills to them and say, listen, technically I've been covered since September. per the fact that I paid my premium to the Washington State website or whatever the hell it is. So you have to at least pay some of this cost for my medical bills, okay? So I said, if I make this next payment, you're basically saying this payment is for the month of September and moving forward. And she said, yes. She says, in fact, that payment that you made back in June was actually for the month of August. And I said, so what you're telling me is my $200 went into the air and you guys spent it however you wanted. I didn't go to a doctor in the month of August because I didn't have health care. But what you're telling me now is because I gave you the appropriate documents that I will be covered from now on. And she says, basically, in shorter words, yes, you are now covered. You may not get payment right away, but you'll need to submit any bills or anything that come up to this company when you do get approved, and supposedly they will pay some of the cost. So I just want you to think about how complicated this fucking process is, all right, versus me just picking up a phone. Hello, is this the health insurance company? I have a back injury, and I'm 32 years old, and I'm this weight, and I don't have any other ongoing medical problems. Can you please tell me how much it costs a month for health insurance? Oh, it costs that much? Okay, I approve that. Oh, I'll have my card in the mail next week. Thanks. That was the old system. Now, it's literally jumped through 47 fucking hoops because the system's broken, because when you make a law like this, you cannot put it into effect until the infrastructure is there to handle it. It's obvious that when the light switch was flipped and they turned on this law, no one actually checked to see if the websites were up and running, if the websites worked, if the websites had the amount of information that people would know when they need to provide additional information. There's no follow-up system put into effect. The system sucks monkey shit. All right? And it's a joke because this is everyone in America has to use this now. It's not just me. The only people who aren't using it are people who have a full-time job, like an office job or a corporate job where you get your health insurance through the company. Those jobs are few and far between these days. Most jobs today are service industry. People are working 2 or 3 part-time jobs where they don't have health care. They have to get their own health care now. So everyone's being forced to use this process. Now, I'm tech savvy. All right? I understand websites. I understand scanning and uploading. Imagine someone who doesn't understand this stuff. Imagine maybe an elderly person is supposed to understand this shit? Really? This blows my fucking mind that this is what happened to our healthcare with a law with a good intention, and that good intention gets completely destroyed by not preparing properly before you launch the law. I mean, what a fucking joke. So anyway, the point that I'm making here, and I hope that I can help you with it, is this. If you are moving in the United States of America from one state to another, and you are not going to have your old health care anymore, when you go to your state's website and you register and you make your payment, that's not the end. You have to put a ton of documentation to prove that you legitimately moved from one address to another. If you do not, you will be sitting and having no health care and paying money to this website because this is how broken the process is. So be forewarned. I hope this is a public service announcement to those of you who live in the United States and may be thinking of moving out of state. It's a bad process. You're going to have frustration, but hopefully this at least helped you so you're not like me, stranded, sitting here like an asshole with no health care. By the way, I would love to see a doctor because I haven't been to a doctor in years and years, and it was my goal that when I finally moved out here, that was one of the first things on my agenda, and now it's just not happening because I still have to wait to get health care. It's a shame. It's a shame that there's people out there that our government wants to help, but they're so inept at what they do that they can't. All right, it's time for a break. We're going to come back and talk about the 3 controversial topics going on right now in gaming, and then we'll see how long it takes to get through those, and then we're going to get some callers. So thanks for watching, everyone. I'll be right back with the continuation of Hate Live. If you're watching this on stream, there's going to be a short commercial break. If you're watching this on YouTube, just take a look at the timestamp, and you can skip right ahead to the next section. All right, here we go. Okay, everybody, excuse me. I just figures I take a sip of drink before I come back and I burp. Welcome back to Hate Live. Sorry, move my mouse here so it's out of the way. Welcome back to Hate Live, and this is, boy, I can't stop burping now. This is segment 2, where we're gonna get deep into the issues. I'm gonna head headstrong right into them rather than killing any time. Number one thing going on right now in gaming is the acquisition of Twitch TV by Amazon.com. Now, you may say to yourself, what? Wasn't it just a few weeks ago we were talking about Google was looking to purchase Twitch TV, and this was the big hot topic of discussion? Because if you remember a few weeks ago, all of a sudden Twitch TV flipped a switch, very much like YouTube did this past December on everyone, and ran an algorithm that completely flagged everyone's videos for music and all kinds of stuff, ridiculously, and everyone had their stuff copyright strikes and muted on YouTube, and now Twitch TV did it too. So, if that's the case, it wasn't Google that was behind all of that stuff. Wow, that's kind of weird too, because if you remember, Twitch also made all these changes to their on-demand video, where now streams were no longer going to be archived permanently unless you did special work around it and all this stuff, and they made this new archives page that looks exactly like the YouTube videos page. So everyone really was duped, and we thought that Twitch TV was going to be bought out by Google. And there was a ton of issue with that. The tons of issue with that was actually that people were worried. We saw that Google buys businesses in the past, guts the company, cuts out all the people who work for them, lays them off, comes in with their own skeleton staff, automates everything, and just says, oh, everything's hunky-dory. Take a look at YouTube. YouTube used to be very much like Twitch TV is today. User-friendly, had direct customer service, people you could talk to if the website wasn't working, if they changed something, if you had a complaint, and you got responses. They had help forums where people actually responded and respected you. And when Google bought them, that all went bye-bye. They literally laid off everyone, okay? Put in their own skeleton crew, and the whole website is automated. If you have a problem with YouTube, tough titties, because you don't get any help. There's no customer support for YouTube, and there's no help from Google. So people were very, very afraid that if Google bought out Twitch TV, that the whole website would lose its personality, would lose the fact that it wanted to be a gameplay-centric website, that copyright issues would become massively abundant throughout the thing. There were all these things going on, all these concerns. So now Amazon.com has bought the website, and I think that a lot of people's fears have been alleviated a little bit. I have a few different takes on it, which I'm about to share with you, but the thing that I found funny about the whole thing is when this announcement was made a couple weeks back, the CEO of Twitch TV put out a public letter to everyone. And in the public letter, he basically said, you know, never did they expect that in 3 years this website would grow so exponentially and become the #1 streaming website on the internet, and how huge that entire gaming cultures have come, like League of Legends and stuff like that's blown up because of Twitch TV live streaming, and the fact that they now feel that they have found a company that is going to allow them to keep their culture, their mentality, their philosophy behind their company intact, is going to allow them to keep the staff that they have and allow them to continue to operate on a daily basis the way that they want to without being gutted. And I took that as a direct fucking stab at Google, because that's exactly what Google does. And I would almost go as far to say that Google did offer Twitch TV more money than Amazon did. But Google said, no, we will take over your company and do what we want. While Amazon said, no, we have interest in your company. Maybe we'll have some cool synergy where you could take Amazon.com ads and integrate them into your streams for better targeted marketing. But we want you to keep doing what you're doing because you're doing a good job. I mean, look how exponentially you've grown. Keep doing it. And I think that the staff of Twitch said, that's what we want for our company. Not someone to just come in and ruin the fucking business. Right? So, it is what it is. We're going to see what happens with it. I am feeling a lot better about the situation. My personal take on the situation is this. If Amazon does what they promised and does not fuck with the website, that this could be a huge thing, because Amazon has a lot of money, right? They haven't really turned a profit, but they are still a company that has a lot of money. And what they could do is they could take that money and buy server space for Twitch TV, and Twitch TV could have triple the server space it has now. So whenever there is a League of Legends tournament with 200,000 people watching, the whole website doesn't come to a streaming crash, and everything drops off, and the stream chat explodes, and the streams won't load, and no one can stream. Everyone will be able to stream. Okay? In addition, like I said, synergy. Amazon is a huge advertisement base, okay? Amazon has hundreds of thousands of independent sellers, as well as huge major companies that sell their products through Amazon.com at the best price possible, meaning you probably can buy something from Amazon cheaper than you can find it anywhere else as a reputable company. Sure, someone secondhand might sell you something, but if you want it new inbox from a new reputable company, usually Amazon has the best price, okay? So imagine if you're watching my stream here, Hate Lie, and I was mentioning the games that I played this week. Remember, I just mentioned Sims 4, and I just took that commercial break, and somehow, because they tagged Sims 4 in the video, it runs a Sims 4 ad. It would make sense, right? Wow, here's Phil's playing Layton versus Phoenix Wright. That's the name of the stream. That's the gameplay he's doing. He goes on break, and you get a Layton versus Phoenix Wright ad. Buy it on Amazon now, right? Actual targeted marketing versus what Twitch is doing now. You're running it's for fucking, Greek yogurt and fucking diapers, and who knows what these ads are for. Garbage. Targeted marketing towards your viewership. That's great, and that could turn into big potential for Twitch, big potential for me, the streamer, and for you, you won't be annoyed by stupid, irrelevant commercials to what you're watching. It's pretty much a win-win for everybody, right? Okay. So, that's my feeling on the subject. Now, we don't know. This is very early. Things could be completely different by the time it gets fully implemented. But for the most part, that's my feeling on the subject. As things progress and we hear about more changes coming to Twitch and stuff in the future, which undoubtedly is going to be coming. I actually heard that at, there was a partners-only panel at PAX where it was actually discussed that big, fun things are coming for partners on Twitch, including multiple level subscriptions. People can be like a silver subscriber and a gold subscriber and get more stuff for the gold and the silver. That there's going to be other special things. I don't know. I'm not 100% on any of it because I wasn't there. But I'm very much looking forward to hearing all this. Okay. So that was the one, the one first major announcement. Let's talk about the second one, the big news story that's happening right now in the gaming media all across the internet. Something that I've been talking about for years, and apparently people in the mainstream don't listen or don't want to hear it. I don't know. They think that I'm some kind of a conspiracy theorist. The unprofessionalism of the gaming media out there right now, and what is now being called GamerGate, okay? I'm going to give you the very, very short version of the story because I'm not going to go into the sultry details of the sexual aspect of everything that happened. Here's the deal in a nutshell. There was a female game developer. This female game developer was making an indie game. She engaged, apparently, allegedly, I don't know because I wasn't part of this, thank God, in sexual activity and or relationships with up to 5 different males who were all involved in different facets of gaming media on the internet, including, supposedly, I think the biggest one was Kotaku. And I think there's rumors about other ones as well. But basically, she had relationships with all of these guys. Now, it is absolutely incredibly unclear whether or not, I think anyone could prove, right, that the reason that she was with these guys, sleeping with these guys, whatever she did with these guys, had anything to do with her game. How could you prove that? You can't. From my perspective, that's unfair. That's speculation. It's wild speculation. But the wild speculation that's out on the internet right now is that this girl was kind of going and sleeping around with people, all right, in exchange for them mentioning her game on their jobs, okay? So not necessarily that they were writing a full review of the game and giving it an unfair, positive stuff about the game. In fact, apparently the biggest one, which is Kotaku, the guy who she had a relationship with apparently never wrote a review of her game. He never reviewed it. Maybe he mentioned it on his Twitter feed a few times, and maybe in a blog post on Kotaku a couple times he mentioned it, but it wasn't like he was constantly rattling off positivity and then reviewed it unfairly or anything like that, okay? So, that's supposedly the story behind this whole, what they're calling Gamergate, and the big, of course, the overhyping drama queens of the internet who cover shit like this are saying, so this means that behind the scenes there's all kinds of sordid, sultry, torrid sexual affairs going on in the gaming media, and this means that everyone who's involved in the gaming media is fucking the game developers, and the game developers are either paying them or fucking them in exchange for attention. And, you know, it's kind of out of control in my opinion. It really is out of control in my opinion, and here's why. Here's why. All right, number one. People's personal experience, sexual experience, all that stuff is their own business. No one should ever be, oh, I want to know about what this guy, who fucked who and who's, you know, that's TMZ shit. That's like immature kiddie shit. And yeah, I know TMZ is huge and is a very popular TV show and website. You shouldn't be. Because if you're mature, you don't give a fuck of anything that's on TMZ. It's a completely worthless business. It's just for people who are little kitty drama queens who want to be all uppity about stupid shit instead of spending their time on important stuff. Okay? You have no right to be in anyone's business. Who fucked who blew who butt fucked who, I don't care. I don't give a shit about who's fucking who. It's none of our business. We shouldn't give a crap. Alright? I've said for a long time now, a very long time, that gaming media, per se, is not very professional. We know for a fact, if you look at the people who are involved in gaming media, okay, first of all, I don't believe that there is formal gaming media. I think it is a bunch of corporations throwing money at stuff to try to make a buck. And so if you can make a news story, oh, this is big news, oh, we can get views, site page views or whatever, we can make big bucks off of it, off of advertisement revenue. And that's really what it's all about. It's not about the core of the story or the news that's being relayed in the story. It's about getting the ad revenue and getting the views, because they're all businesses. They don't care about getting the story out there. They care about this and getting the views and the attention, okay? The people in the gaming media, all right, from what I've seen, compared to other facets of stuff that I've seen, are incredibly unprofessional. You review a game, and you read the game review, and the game review is 90% personal opinion because you don't like the game, and 10% fact, and then you destroy the game in the review instead of objectively weighing it against the other games. That's completely and utterly irresponsible game review. But I'm not going to go into detail about game reviews because I've done it before. A lot of people disagree with me. They say review's an opinion. I say bullshit. A review is part opinion, part fact, and it needs to be weighed properly. But I digress. From what I've seen, the people in the gaming media are incredibly unprofessional, to the point where even if you try to bring up a valid point, they now say, oh, that guy's just a troll, and then they just ignore you. Right? They don't want to hear it because they think they're in this inclusive group of people in the in crowd who are talking heads who can talk about video games. I am a fully backed believer here. I'm backing people like me who play a game, okay, independently. You're not looking to get anything out of it or anything. And then you give your honest opinions on the game. I think that someone who is not involved in that gaming media, who's not necessarily making a solid paycheck every month doing it, those are the people that you can believe. Because why do they have any incentive to lie? You know what I mean? So I love the YouTube revolution that everyone can talk about stuff and give their movie reviews and opinions about games and stuff independently, and that people are getting viewership and getting their opinions out there. I would trust that person 1,000,000% more than the talking head on some gaming website. I would. That's me. That's my mentality. Okay? But that's just me. Maybe I'm different. Okay? I know, personally, that if I'm going to a website like IGN, like Kotaku, like whoever was involved in this, because I know there was a ton of them that were listed, and I don't even know. I don't care about the details of it. You need to take that with a grain of salt, and you have to understand that if someone's mentioning something, it's probably because there's a reason behind it. If someone keeps mentioning a game over and over, it's either probably because they really like the game personally or because they know the person who's developing the game. There's a reason. And it's okay for you to watch a person because you like them or you find them entertaining, or to read their content because you seem to have a like mind. That's probably the best way to find out if something is good or not, dependent on someone who's like you, who's talking about that game. But for people to say, oh, well, the gaming media was supposed to be Bible truth about everything, and now it's been blown open that some people have been, irresponsibly giving promotion to stuff because they're sleeping with a woman who's developing the game, I say, wake the fuck up, dumbass. Because this has been going on forever. IGN giving insanely high reviews to Halo games that are 4 hours long. Call of Duty getting 9s in every major fucking media outlet almost every year when it's the same game every year. I mean, it's pretty apparent that it's not legit. Yet people like, oh my god, all of a sudden my eyes have been opened. Like, it took a sex scandal for your eyes to be opened. Not the fact that you just buy into the hype of whatever's promoted every year and you buy it like a sheep, and then you realize the game's not so good when you get home. That wasn't enough for you. You needed to have a girl sleep with 5 dudes in the gaming industry or the gaming media to think that it's not, you know what I mean? It's just, what the hell? Seriously, it's just, it's so dumb. It's so, oh, look at this. Thank you. All right, so I was just going to say, some idiot in the stream chat. It's just so dumb. It's, for me, in my head, it's like, I know that when I read something on the internet, that it's not Bible truth. But there are people who read a review, or read a blog post, or read a tweet. Well, if this guy said the game's good, and that's all I care about. You know, he said it's good, it must be. So I'm going to go play it. Or this guy gave the game a 9 out of 10. Metacritic says it's a 95 out of 100, despite the fact that it's all the big major outlets that gave it 100, and then everyone else said it was a 60. Well, it must be a great game because Metacritic says it's a 95. Stop being sheep. Stop being the kind of person who relies on this kind of, you know what I mean? This mentality of the gaming media is some kind of an irrefutable source of information. They're not. In fact, they're way less professional than other media outlets, for example, you know, CNN and things like that. For media outlets that have been around forever, even they, a lot of the times, can be this sensationalistic and do stuff just for attention. So why would you think the gaming media is any different? It's all the same. You know what I mean? There really is no, one super professional source for information. So people say, GamerGate, because now finally the walls are tumbling down and we can't trust anyone in the gaming media. I never did. Like I said, I trust the independents over these pundits, these bigwig websites who supposedly get the authoritative statement about games and gaming and if a game's good, versus the individual who actually has no stake or nothing to gain by saying a game is better or worse. So, supposedly that's the situation. I don't know. Again, I don't care, but that's the controversy going on, okay? All right. And now, last but not least, we've got to talk about it. Because in particular, I've been affected personally by it this past week, and it's not only is it terrifying for a streamer, okay, someone who live streams on Twitch TV on a daily basis, it's just terrifying because when something becomes, or a term, or a fad, or a meme, or whatever you want to call it, it gains power. And unfortunately, this isn't just some little mischievous thing that, oh wow, you know, I prank called someone or I ordered a pizza for someone and a pizza guy shows up. Even though I think that's fucked up too. Imagine some poor pizza guy, right, who makes minimum wage, drives out with 5 pizzas to a house, then go to the house, the guy answers the door, I didn't order any pizzas, so someone pranked you. Wow, well, that was real nice of you for this poor guy who probably now is going to get yelled at by his manager. What happened? Why didn't you deliver the pizzas? You didn't bring any money back, right? Wasted his time. It's fucked up. Any of this kind of mischief is fucked up. But when you come to the point when you get the police involved, now you've crossed the fucking line, okay? So what we're going to talk about is a very important topic. I am going to try to be serious and not joke around because I think that this is probably one of the most serious topics I've ever spoken of. It's called, I don't agree with this name either. They're calling it swatting, all right? I don't agree with calling it that because when you give something a term, it's swatting. Oh, you got swatted, son, and all. People joke around about it and think that it's something funny. It's not. It's a felony. It's reporting a false, serious crime to local law enforcement and the attempt to get the law enforcement to interrupt a live streamer's stream. It's fucked up and it hurts people. Because, number one, the law enforcement comes charging in not knowing what to expect or what's going on. The people who are getting charged and barged in on don't know what's going on. That's potential for a mistake. What if someone has a lighter in his hand and the cop thinks it's a gun and shoots him? That's not funny. What if, God forbid, someone has a heart condition, gets thrown onto the floor, and has a heart attack and dies? That's not funny. What if local law enforcement, because they're busy thinking that there's a mass murder going on, and storms a building because some kid doesn't like the live streamer and thinks it's funny to see him get arrested on camera? What if there's a real shooting 2 blocks away and the cops can't make it because they're at this place swatting someone? It's not funny. It's fucking sick. Anyone who would even consider looking up the real address of a live streamer, thinking of pranking someone because you know where they live in real life, and or doxing them, meaning revealing their real address in real life, that's fucking mental sickness. That means that you are messed up. That you think that that is funny stuff. You are hurting people, not only the streamer, but all the people around the streamer, that local community, the police department. It's illegal, it's fucked up, and it's wrong. And anyone who supports it should be arrested, because we can't have that kind of shit in our society. The problem we have right now in our society is we have an archaic, analog emergency services system. They rely on anonymous phone tips, on anonymous emails, on those kind of tips to find out what's going on. Especially in light, in America recently, we've had some crazy shootings by mentally ill people, right? And there's been mass killings. And we need to have our law enforcement armed and ready to respond to those things in an appropriate manner. And these prank calls are unacceptable, because you are basically wasting our time and making people in grave life or death danger, right? Life or death. This is not a joke anymore. And it's happened about 4 times in the past couple of months, supposedly. Most recently, it happened to one YouTube streamer who, I don't know what is, White Boy or something like that. I know nothing about him. But supposedly this guy did nothing wrong at all. And the cops stormed his house, found his personal stash, I guess, of weed. That's the rumor. I don't know. And because it was a state where weed wasn't legal and he didn't have a, regardless, he didn't have a prescription for it. It was his own personal ownership of this weed. He went to jail. Now, I don't know the full story. That's what everyone's saying. That's the rumor. Okay? What the fuck? Like, so a guy who's doing something in his own home, not harming anyone, gets, swatted. And now he's going to go to jail because he owned a little bit of weed or something. I don't know if that's the full extent of the full story. Okay? Last week, this happened to Kutra, one of the creatures. Okay? One of the group of YouTubers / streamers who, they're with SSOHPKC, and I guess they're united. I think they're in Colorado. And they have an office, a public office, where they work out of. It's actually a professional office, rented out. They each have their own rooms and stuff set up so where they stream from daily. And someone did it to him. In this case, this was even worse because they shut down the whole town. This is a small town that these guys work out of. They shut down 2 schools. They had kids crying in the street, worried that there was a gunman in the area, because that's what the prank call said. There's a gunman. It's like, really? Really? Like, this is a joke to some people. They think this is funny, right? This is a laughing stock. It's not. It's sick. Those people need to go to jail. Those people, here's the truth, those people should have been spanked by their parents so they actually learn to have some kind of responsibility and that there are consequences for your actions. Because the bottom line is, it sounds to me these are people who don't have consequences for their actions. They get away with shit in life because they do it anonymously on the internet. And so they never learn discipline as children. Now they think they have free reign to do whatever they want as adults, right? Or maybe it is children doing it. I don't know. All I know is it's seriously fucked up. And personally, speaking from my experience, I know for a fact that there were 2 particular groups of people. One, I think, was only one person in an isolated incident, but there was another group of people who, since I moved to the state of Washington, have been trying to find out my actual street address to fuck with me. Now, I don't know 100% were they looking to do this to me? Were they just going to prank me with ordering pizzas or whatever? First of all, it's a waste of their time because I live in a private community and no one can get to my house without my permission, okay? Number 2, my local law enforcement, I have a security system built in here that if there's any kind of calls that come out of around this house, they call me first. I already have my number on file. So you can't fuck with me. And number 3, my address is not public. My address is not on the internet. I know it's listed there. You can look on the internet. Oh, there's an address. I don't live there. I've said this publicly earlier this week. People are wasting their time. I'm privately listed. I have a private phone number. Everything is I did on purpose because in Connecticut, people were starting to get to that point. Yeah, people were being malicious and doing a few things. I never mention it because that gives those people power, right? When you mention, that's the whole thing. They want to feel, oh, I did that. I had some power. My e-dick just grew 10 sizes today. Because these are pathetic, miserable, sick people who think that getting their e-dick strong and hard is more important than the safety of people in real life. It's terrorism is what it is. It's actual terrorism. It's cyber terrorism, but it's still terrorism. And it's completely illegal, and it cannot be allowed to happen. And no one should support this at all. Regardless if you hate someone's guts, if you wish that that someone went out of business tomorrow and stopped making content because you hate that person down to the core, you still shouldn't support that you do that to them, because that hurts people around them. It's fucked up. Okay? So, the bottom line is that, you know, at least in this case, I know that where I am, I should be good. I don't think we're going to have any problems like that. Especially because I live, like I said, I live in a private gated community. The police have our information on file. They can call me ahead of time if they get any kind of a reports of something going on. If ever my address were to actually leak, which it has not, thank God, it's not really on the internet right now. And, you know, it's sick. It's sick that people sitting on Google, oh, could this be where someone lives? Could this be where someone lives? I'm going to send them pizzas. This is funny. This is funny. What kind of a person would do that? Just think about what kind of a fucking person. How sick do you have to be? So, in this case, I know some people have been very nervous over the past week since this happened to Kutra and said, gee, a lot of people dislike Phil. Would that ever happen to Phil? I don't think it would. One thing I can tell you, though, is this. Don't worry, because I know if that ever does happen, you get right on the ground, you put your hands behind your back, you answer whatever they say truthfully, and you do whatever the fuck you're told. I have nothing to hide in this house. I'm 100% legal. Nothing in this house is illegal. I don't do drugs. I have no bootleg merchant. Nothing. It's all legit. It's all legit. So nothing, you know, negative could happen to me. But I actually am afraid of my neighbors and people around me, if that were to happen, that they are going to get hurt in response to something like that happening. So, you know, you got to really look in the mirror. If you're the kind of person who you think that's funny, you got to look in the mirror. I'll tell you right now, I sincerely, even if you hate my guts, you got to seek help. Because the fact that you would hurt people like that, that's not normal. That's not normal human brain function, my friends. It's not. And it's a serious issue, okay? All right, everyone, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back, and then we're going to take live callers. It looks like we're going to have about maybe 20 minutes to 25 minutes to take live callers. We'll see how the callers go tonight, okay, everybody? Oh, one last thing, because I forgot to mention it at the beginning of the show, and I apologize because I meant to. I do want to say, unfortunately today, a great comedian in America, another American great comedian, passed away, Joan Rivers. She's been around for quite a long time. She was before my time, quite honestly. I never heard her do stand-up or anything like that, but she's very well respected. She made enemies, but at the same time, a lot of people really think that she was like a rebel for her time, being a female comedian. And she passed away today, so rest in peace to Joan Rivers. There you go, okay? Thanks, everyone. Quick break. If you're, again, watching on Twitch, just hang in there. I'll be right back. If you're watching on YouTube, timestamp. Jump to the timestamp, click it, skip the break. I'll be right back. I screwed up. I am not capable of clicking the right thing tonight. I don't know. I clicked every wrong thing. Okay, and I also kicked the camera too, so the camera's not even centered. I apologize, everyone. All right, so we're going to take a few Skype callers here tonight on the stream. Hopefully you guys will be able to hear them. If you cannot hear them and you're having technical difficulties, please let me know. My headphones are plugged in. Hopefully we won't have technical difficulties like we did that last time when I could not hear anyone. So call me right now on Skype. My name is DarkSidePhil with a Y, and I will try to get some people in here. Unfortunately, it looks like Skype had an update, and now everything is messed up. I'm not even kidding you. Like, all the people who are calling in, their names are overlapping over each other. What the why did Skype do this? Oh, no. All right, I'm going to try to answer a random call. Oh, you know what? No, here we go. I'm going to take a call from my friend Chris, if it works. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on, sir?
Hey, how are you doing? Just to warn you, the internet in this house that I'm in is really shitty, so I apologize if it cuts out.
All right, no problem, man. You sound all right for now.
All right, let me turn off your stream. So
yes, please.
Okay. So how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm feeling a lot better now that I had a chance to vent a little bit tonight and talk about some of the stuff I've been going through, because today I was so just like, you know those days when you're so intensely frustrated that you can feel like the veins on the side of your forehead are like pumping up? That's what I felt like earlier, but now I feel a little bit better actually. How you been doing, man?
I've been doing good. I'm living with 7 other people in a house just outside of the dorm I was living in last year. So I am living the life. It is way different than 2 years ago when I was getting ready to do a playthrough of what was a Borderlands 2 with you and John Rambo. I was like, yeah, it's going to be so fun. Now 2 years later, I'm like, fucking parties, truth or dare, fucking, you know, stuff I probably shouldn't mention on stream, and yeah, so,
Typical college fare, my friend, yes.
Yeah, but I never experienced that, because high school was, you know, such hell, but now, you know, it's just, it's so liberating and so just freeing to be.
Isn't it just so different, you know what I mean? Like, it's just such a different world in college. People don't care about that bullshit anymore, you know?
Yeah, it's just, it's really, really nice to kind of have that freedom. I'm taking some harder courses, and I mean, I have some of my gaming consoles here, so it's not like I'm totally, you know, disconnected from all of the gaming stuff and whatnot.
Right.
But
are you still? I'm trying to remember. Are you still focusing on the major that you were focusing on when you started, or did you have like an epiphany and decide to switch it up like I did?
I am still a communications major with a minor in creative writing, because I want to publish my book series, but I know that's not always a realistic goal. Yeah. So I have communications just as a backup. Now, the internship I did this past summer was freaking amazing. It wasn't for my major, but it was for this big tech startup company. I remember I sent you a question on Ask the King, and you talked about it a little bit.
Sure,
by the way,
yeah.
Those guys were eccentric about that. They're like, oh my god, does YouTube mentioned us in this video? Like, dude, that's crazy. That's crazy. And so they were like, these guys, they just wanted all the marketing promotion. They wanted me to make like an alias. They're like, dude, become Darkside Chris. You can become an alias of this guy, and you can like get views. I'm like, it's like, I don't think you guys know how YouTube works. Like, I don't think that would really get you many views as you think. Like, I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
they
this day and age.
Yeah, I mean, we ended up emailing companies like Kotaku to try to promote the app, but we really didn't get that far with it. I mean, it was a paid internship. I got money for it, so I'm just happy. But keeping up, I mean, I keep up contacts with them and stuff, because like at least the guy I was employed by was a pretty big guy. He had all these contacts, and so a good guy on LinkedIn. That's a big thing I'll say to anyone who's in college. Make sure you have a LinkedIn profile, because a lot of businesses go there to look you up. It's not Facebook where, you know, you've got you know, all those disturbing pictures per se on there.
Yeah, it's the professional Facebook, the one that people actually look at for employment. I know that for a fact. My dad actually had a lot of attention based off of his own LinkedIn profile, and it helped him get his job that he was at. And actually, I haven't mentioned this, he actually recently got a new job, a big step up from where he was, and he's making a lot more money. So congrats to my dad for that. And yeah, LinkedIn is definitely a good thing in the business world. So Chris, do you have a particular thing you'd like to talk about? I know this show was like everywhere with so much stuff that's been going on, and I haven't done one in a while. Do you have anything in particular that you wanted to either say or address tonight?
I do want to say something really quick, and I don't think you know about this, and I just want to throw this out there. So over the past couple of months, I have been in 2 different Skype groups. And over the summer, there were a lot of people making accusations saying, "Oh, the ALS is talking to people who don't like Phil." And I was talking to some of these people. I'm in, well, I'm not really in, but I'm in two different groups. The Kojima people that they criticize you, and then there's some people that take it to higher extremes. I talk to these people. I'm friends with some of them. However, a lot of these people, some of them want your best intention. Others, kind of go to extreme levels. But one of the reasons I decided to talk with them is the fact that they're not all bad people. I think some of them have your best intention at heart. However, I don't always think they do it in the right way. Being in these groups, I try to stress that there's ways, even if they don't agree with something you're doing, there's ways that they can say it in a mature manner. And I see a lot of immaturity. Even when I was first introduced to your community, people were very immature about how they treated me. And I see a lot of that even now when you're trying to transition and do things with your YouTube channel. And I just think there's a way to say it. Things can be said in a proper manner. You don't have to make 700 hate videos. As long as you're okay with what you're saying, then I think it's fine. So that was why I'm talking to some of these people, and some of these people are actually nice. They give me good wishes for college, and I mean, they're not all bad people. A lot of them are ex-fans of yours and stuff and whatnot. And I just wanted to mention that because a lot of these people, have made lots of accounts and they go under all these aliases. But I know who these people are, and some of them do have your best intention at heart, and I certainly think that they want to help you, but I'm just trying to make sure they do it in a way that's kind of proactive. So doing all this, I'm ultimately trying to help you is basically what I'm saying, because basically people that would otherwise spam you and just say nasty stuff, and if you come off of YouTube and you don't want people doing that kind of stuff, I'm trying to at least alleviate that a little bit more. Talk to them and say, listen, there's a way to say it. You don't got to pounce on the guy and stuff, because I know you on a personal level. A lot of these guys were like, oh, turn against Phil, turn against Phil. It's like if I didn't have you as a friend in my life, I don't know if I'd be alive, honestly, because I contemplated suicide a lot in high school when I was getting bullied, and your channel was always there for me to help me through a lot of the things that I was going through. And there's debts I can never repay to you. So there's absolutely no way I would ever, turn my back on anything that you would do. I'm, a friend of yours forever, and that will never ever change.
Well, so I appreciate you saying all that, Chris. By the way, I had no clue you were talking to anyone, and quite honestly, I don't think that I would ever be as assertive of myself to say that, oh, because you like my content, how dare you not speak with or not speak with someone else. People can be friends with whoever they want, and they can talk to whoever they want, and it all depends. It's like you said, it's down to how you say it and respect. The difference between if you're being respectable and mature and giving constructive criticism versus fuck Phil, fuck everything he's about, spread nasty shit about him that's not true, and make this whole smear campaign against him. It's completely different. And I know there's people out there who like my content and support me. I know there's people out there that maybe liked my content in the past and don't like some things that I've changed. I know that there's people out there who just don't want to see me succeed at all because they want other people to basically get the attention and not me. It's all different groups, but don't feel that just because you talked to someone, and that goes for anyone, not just for Chris, anyone who's a viewer of mine, just because you're a friend with someone else who maybe doesn't like me or whatever, I don't want anyone to feel like you have to be black or white, because the world is not black or white, right? There's gray everywhere. And don't think that there's ever have that mentality that someone's ultimately right and someone's ultimately wrong. So, Chris, I thank you for letting me know that. And, I don't care. Like I said, it doesn't bother me. It's cool. I never thought that you would like turning on me or anything like that. I don't think that I got that impression. I didn't. Quite honestly, this whole summer I've been so freaking busy with the move and now trying to settle in here, and like some of the stuff I talked about on the show today. I've got so much stuff going on that I never had going on before. I don't have time to really dwell on that kind of stuff. So I appreciate, and I also appreciate your sentiment on Twitter a couple days ago when I was feeling a little down one night, and you gave me a little bit of a pep talk. So thanks for that. I always appreciate getting those nice messages, from people who actually do legitimately care about myself and my success and my well-being. So thanks. Okay, hello? Uh-oh. What happened? And he's gone, apparently, because oh, hello?
I think the internet's going out. I think the internet's going crashy. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Sorry, it's kind of going crazy.
All right, then I guess. Thank you for your call, Chris. I guess we'll end it here.
Oh, you can hear me right now? Am I all good?
Hello?
Yeah, we'll end it here. Yeah, it's going crazy. Sorry, Phil. Go on to the callers. Thanks for taking my call.
All right.
I'll see you later.
Have a good night, man.
All right, see you.
Well, that was funny because I said the whole thing. He probably didn't hear a word of it. He probably didn't hear anything. All right, let's go on to another caller here. I'm going to clear my board here because all these callers have been up there for 1,000 years, and they're probably all outdated. And I need a new one. Okay, here we go. Shit, hold on. I can't see what I'm supposed to click because they changed Skype. Skype looks completely different now, and I can't see what I'm supposed to be clicking. Let's try this. Ah, shit. Now I was going to click this guy, and 5 more popped on top. Dude, what did they do? They screwed up Skype, man. Skype is terrible now. I can't even click on something. 500 more people show up. Let me try this. Hello.
Oh, hey, what's going on, DSP?
Hey, what's going on? Who am I speaking with tonight?
You're talking with, Vinny Pasta. That's not my real name. I just don't like my last name to be shown, you know?
I totally understand that. I've had many problems with, unfortunately, you know, people knowing my full name, so.
Yeah, I know, man.
So what's going on tonight, Vinny? What would you like to talk about?
You know, just nothing much. I just want to talk about, you know, just some stuff that happened with, the Ice Bucket Challenge.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so what happened was I saw your pre-stream with, the Ice Bucket Challenge, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm watching this, and you say, oh, you know, some of these people, you know, they're just getting this for attention, you know, they're not really donating to the cause, everything about this. And, you know, I just thought, you know, there's so many influential people that are doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I couldn't honestly say that they're doing this for money.
Mm-hmm. No, I completely understood. And that is not what I was saying. I guess I should explain the situation to everyone so that everyone understands fully. Because what happens is you hear the pre-stream, I don't get the counter question, and then it just becomes speculation, okay? What I'm saying, for people who don't know, there was this fad, I don't know if it's dying out now at this point. Now at this point it's like, what, 3 weeks old or whatever, where there was a person who had this disease called ALS. It is a debilitating disease, and they started this internet fad where basically you have to donate some money if you get nominated for this this thing, and you get a choice. Either, I think it was, you donate $100 or you dump a bucket of ice on your head and you pay $10, and that by doing this, it would help spread awareness of the ALS disease. And basically, it became a viral thing. Everyone on the internet started doing it, from the person who's just, you know, Joe Nobody, you know, anyone from around the internet, versus up all the way up to CEOs of corporations, celebrities, musicians. And so it became this huge thing, this huge movement on the internet. Oh, we got to dump ice on our heads and donate, and we're spreading awareness of ALS, okay? And of course, at the core of anything like that, at the core of a movement, there is a good intention, okay? But the point that I was making, and I'll make it again, and I'll clarify it this time. This is a good opportunity to do this, so I'm glad that you actually brought this up. Thank you for your call, Vinny. Is that there is different mentalities about charity. My mentality about charity, the way that I was raised, the way that I was always told, is that charity is a private thing. If I want to donate, if I want to help someone, if I want to do that, it's a humbling thing. And it's not a thing that should be promoted. It's not a thing that should be thrown out there as like, oh, look at me, I'm dumping ice on my head because I'm donating and I'm helping ALS. To me, the way that I was raised, okay, and I keep in mind that I've rebelled against a lot of the stuff that I've done when I was raised, but I was raised as a more conservative Catholic kind of a viewpoint, is that charity is something to be kept not for popularity and not for personal gain, but to do the right thing, okay? So the point that I was making is that people are saying, Phil, will you do the Ice Bucket Challenge? Some people have nominated you on Twitter, will you do it? And my answer was no, I'm not going to do it. Because I actually do have things, charitable things that I do during the year. I don't talk about them. I don't want to talk about them because I actually think that that would be, again, stirring attention towards it versus, you know, actually caring about it. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be a big thing that everyone talks about, that Phil dumped ice on his head and he's part of this big viral fad. That's not what I'm about. I want to give charity for the sake of giving to charity. Now, some people are saying, well, okay, yeah, people are doing it, and some people aren't in it for trying to get attention or money, right? Because did Tom Cruise need to dump a bucket of ice on his head? No, he's famous. Okay, fair enough. There's always going to be people who are doing it legitimately. But the amount of people that were doing it diluted the message of what it was. It became more about, I'm doing the Ice Bucket Challenge because everyone's doing the Ice Bucket Challenge, instead of, well, ALS is a debilitating disease, and this is definitely going to help people who have it. And I think that the message became a viral fad, not, an actual movement for good. That's my personal take on it. You could disagree with that. That's fine. But from what I saw, there are people out there doing it just for... There are people out there doing it and not donating. People out there, oh, well, if I just spread... That's awareness for ALS, right? That's fine. What I say is this, and I've said this on the pre-stream before, and I'll say it again. Where were all these people before this was a fad? Before this was a fad where you could get attention, right, for it. Why weren't these people speaking up about ALS? Where were they? And the answer is they weren't anywhere because they were doing it because it's a fad, not because they care about ALS. Now, there are people who did it because they care. That's the thing. I say something like that and people take it as a universal truth. No. There are plenty of people who did it because they care. There's probably an equal amount of people who did it because it's a fad. I do charity out of the public eye. I don't want to dump a bucket of ice on my head to get attention for ALS or otherwise, because I already donate to the things that I feel that I should donate to from my charity privately. I'm not going to try to get any attention or even mention what they are, because that's not what charity is, at least in my estimation, okay? Now, I'm not saying that if you did the Ice Bucket Challenge that you're a jerk or anything like that. No. That's fine. If you actually had a genuine intention to try to help with this Ice Bucket Challenge or whatever, good on you, because, if you're someone who doesn't get thousands and thousands of views for it, you did it because you care, right? And not because you just wanted to get attention for yourself. If you're a celebrity who's filthy rich, you probably did it because you care and you want to spread awareness. That's fine. But don't come to me and hate on me because my personal belief system is different from yours, and I don't want to make a spectacle of what I consider charity. And that's really what happened. I made a comment, and people said, well, let's just destroy DSP and demonize him because he doesn't want to make a spectacle of himself on behalf of charity, all right? And now I'm going to say something that some people will probably be angry about, but I'm going to say it honestly.
No.
Here you go. I don't know how many people know this, but the main charity that everyone's donating to for ALS, actually, if you do your research, because I've seen several people who did the research, only takes 7% of the money that was donated and puts it towards ALS research. That's right. This whole viral movement that's raised $100 million, only about $7 million of that will ever go to ALS research, because all the rest of it pays the salaries of all the people who work for the company. Actually, over, I believe, a quarter of it goes towards raising more money. So you raise $100 million, only $7 million goes towards research, but $27 million goes towards making more money. Huh? And this is what people need to be skeptical of when you donate. Don't just do it because it's a fad. Try to find a way to actually contribute. Don't dump the ice bucket on your fucking head and say, oh, I did a good deed today. No, see where the money's going before you try to jump in. What's actually happened is this fad funneled $100 million towards an inefficient organization that claims they're non-for-profit, when if you look at the actual sheet of the salaries of people in this company, the top 15 people make like over $100,000 a year. So where's the money going that got donated is my question. And that's why I don't want to become a part of this fad. I will research, I will give my charity off camera, and I very much urge that people in the future don't get duped by stuff like this or caught up, oh, everyone's doing it, it's a big positive thing. Do your research, do your due diligence before you get caught up in the hype and the fad of things, because that's what happened. People, celebrities got caught up in it. And now everyone has to do it, right? Because it's this big positive movement. And next thing you know, oh, by the way, 93 of your $100 probably went to pad the pockets of the CEO, to go pay for their lunches out, to raise more money in the future, and to make their organization operate. And only 7% of the money actually went to real research. And it's unfortunate that I'm saying that right now. And I can see people in the stream chat that are saying, are you serious? Yeah, I'm serious. That's how these not-for-profits actually, and a lot of times, operate. So I'm a lot more skeptical. I keep myself private. I hope that anyone who took it as me saying that charity is bad and if you did the Ice Bucket Challenge, it was a bad thing. No, absolutely not. You can choose to do charity how you want, but if I don't want to do the challenge, don't put that on me and say that I'm a bad person because I didn't want to do it. And I said to everyone, I never did say everyone was stupid. I said there's a big chunk of people doing it because it's a fad, and that's what it was. It's the same as the stupid Harlem Shake and all the other fads on the internet. Everyone's doing it, right? How big fad of it that was. The only difference here is this time there was some kind of a good intention behind it, and everyone thought, oh, it's good to become part of this silly fad because there's some good behind it. But if you do your research, you'll actually find out sometimes what you think you're doing as a great big positive thing on the surface isn't as good as you thought.
All right, that's fair. And I just have one last thing. I know it's late, but okay, I'm been waiting to say this. Okay, so I just got done listening to the ALS thing for calling in, and I'm part of that chat that he was talking about, and.
Okay.
I'm going to be fair, and I'm going to try to be logical. I'm going to just say a real quick example. I was talking to SSOHPKC on Twitter, right?
Okay.
So I was talking with him, and there were some people who don't like you, and they were saying, "Oh man, why do you like DSP? You're stupid," or whatever. And then Seamus, SSOHPKC, said, "Okay, this is just what haters are. You know, nobody's perfect," which is definitely true. And I just said, you know, I know some people can be fools about it, and they don't really say what's at hand, and they just want to say, oh, you like DSP, well, you're wrong. And then I actually went with the Twitter discussion with him, and, you know, we actually talked things out, and he just saw a different viewpoint. He didn't see, at least from what I saw, he said that he thought I was rational. He thought I'm not trying to, you know, brag about myself. I'm just saying, if you look things at a level-headed argument, you can, whatever the argument is, you can look at it level-headedly, and then you can have a good discussion and have a good outcome without trolling or doing stupid shit.
I agree. In fact, we had a caller a couple weeks ago, if you remember, I think it was on the last Hate Live, who he said that we had kind of a tiff on Twitter, and I blocked him or whatever, last year. And then we had an intelligent conversation here on Hate Live, and I think that it went well, and I think that we gained a respect for each other. And that's the problem, is that if you get me one-on-one, chances are you're probably going to understand me and or not think as badly as me as if you get 5,000 people all sending the negative shit towards me, right? Again, there's one of me, there's thousands of you. I cannot respond to every single concern, especially when probably about a third of the things coming at me are just blatant nastiness. And, you know, out of the 2/3 that aren't blatant nastiness, trying to figure out what people are trying to say is nearly impossible. If there was some kind of a universal filter where we could say, okay, a third of the people think you should change this, a third of the people think this was an improvement or something that you could do better, or some way that you should change the interaction with your fans, and this third of people are assholes, just ignore them. I love that. The problem is I don't have that. I would love to have that filter. I don't. And, you know, a lot of people have a manager. Like I said, I know some people don't realize this. A lot of YouTubers have managers who filter their social media and do that. I don't have that. I'm a one person. I don't make a lot of money like a lot of people seem to think I do. I'm not filthy rich, you know. And I do the best that I can. And there's going to be days when I shoot off the cuff and I get mad and I start, you know, yelling and I say things in an agitated manner, or I say things in the wrong way. Or in the case of this ALS challenge, Ice Bucket challenge, I don't get to elaborate to the point where it kind of answers every concern. And so people get the wrong idea. And then, of course, you get that 1/3 of the people who just want to demonize me, and then that becomes the consensus, right? That Phil's just a piece of shit because he said something negative about the Ice Bucket Challenge versus the actual line of thought that I had that was behind it. So if I had more one-on-one conversations with people like you, I think that it would actually change the mentality. The problem is there's now probably about 50,000 people just on YouTube who've been brainwashed to think that anything that I do is crap, that everything that I do is evil, and that just ignore him. And the thing is, that's the flip side. There used to be 50,000 people on YouTube. Wow, Phil's a cool gamer, and he's an average guy, and we're going to check out anything he plays, and it's flipped. And how do you fix that? I can't talk to 50,000 people one-on-one. If those 50,000 people would watch this conversation, maybe things would change. I don't know.
And yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I was a fan since your Duke Nukem Forever review from 2011.
Yeah.
So I wasn't even.
Keep going. My laptop's dying. I forgot I unplugged it. Keep going. I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. Okay. Here's my point of contention. With this, I was a fan of yours, and I know that some weren't, some are. I was actually on your PSN friends list for a good half a year, I want to say.
I can hear you. Keep going.
Okay. Do you know Do you know Loophole 572?
The name kind of rings a bell, but not really.
Okay, so something happened in middle of July. Something happened, and people thought it was funny, and you got a little steamed about it, and I understand, and yeah, I've been thinking about this ever since I did it. Um, man, I'm sorry, it's so late. When you gonna tuck your daughter Panda Lee into bed?
It's him. That's obviously Loophole 572. So you see, the whole first half of the call was absolutely productive. I got to explain about the Ice Bucket Challenge, my real feelings, and he had nothing else to say. And then, of course, when you actually get to a point, oh shit, Phil had an intelligent answer, and then he flips it to try to make the same joke. Now, I'm going to make a point about this, because this is actually very important. This is what children like him need to understand, okay? Dog barking. Children like him need to understand that you can say anything about a person. You can insult their gameplay. You can insult their character. You can insult whatever you want. But when you start insulting things like their family, their significant other, any stuff like that, that's when you've gone over the line. You've completely, you've gone too far. And all that person has proven in that call right there, which I'm actually glad I took the call, was that he's an insanely immature moron. He'll probably be jerking himself off tonight thinking, oh, I got Phil. When ultimately what he did, he wasted his own time by letting me actually elaborate intelligently about a thing that people had a misconception about. And now he had to make a stupid, cheap 5-year-old crack about stuff. And, it really is disgusting, because he's probably one of the people who will go around the internet and say, oh, Phil dated Panda Lee when she was underage, which is a complete lie. But this is what people want to do. People are just sick, man. So jerk yourself off tonight, you stupid loser. Seriously. And, he says, oh, I was a fan of yours since Duke Nukem, but then I made a joke about your girlfriend and you blocked me on PSN and everywhere else. Yeah, you don't insult a person's family, their significant. You don't do that. You just don't. That's actual pussy shit. That's like, if you were a man, you go out into the street and you fight one-on-one. You don't attack the family of them behind their back or anything like that. That's just despicable. What a loser. Seriously. What a fucking loser that guy is. And all I have to say is this, someone could find out his parents and find out who pays his internet bills, because the kid shouldn't be on the internet. The kid should actually probably find a fucking job and stop being a fucking loser who just trolls people on the internet. Unbelievable. That is the kind of person, again, probably had never had any discipline in his life, never got in trouble for anything, thinks that it's funny. He's the kind of person who would probably try to order you a bunch of fake pizzas, or, oh, I'm going to call and swat someone on stream because that's funny, right? And that's the mental illness, unfortunately, that our world is facing today. Really. That is the reality of the mental illness that people are facing today. I mean, think about that. That guy basically sat here and waited for his chance to call into the show, got on the show, posed an intelligent question which thought it was going to make me look bad. It backfired. Then he made a stupid joke about my girlfriend. I mean, how on earth can you think that was funny or even try to save face? I mean, at this point, I can't believe that anyone would support that guy. Seriously. Seriously. All right. So, really, we're out of time. I really don't want to go on and do any more calls because we're out of time. We went long with those 2 calls. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight on Hate Live. Thanks a lot. We will be back next week. And next week, I'm thinking, now that we've kind of fleshed out these issues, that we probably will be going with another Hate Live. And we will have Back in the Day segment. Because I actually do have a very important, fun Back in the Day segment about my high school days, or maybe the transition, the summer of my senior year into my college days. Some fun stuff that went around when I was much younger. A lot of people liked the last time that I was talking about my school days, so that's going to probably be the next Back in the Day segment next week. Okay, everyone? All right, everybody, I'd like you to have a good night. Thanks a lot for joining me. I'll see you next time on Hate Live. Peace out. I seriously cannot click anything right tonight. I clicked the wrong thing again. All right, peace out.